Day number 9 of leisure gameplay of TitanQuest, the Embers expansion grind. For anyone watching this as a YouTube bod, we've made all our way through normal difficulty. Well, I did it offline several years ago. Then through epic difficulty, and we are right in Asgard, as you can read over there. We are pretty much at the end of the Ragnarok expansion. The idea is that I have to finish the game on the second tier of difficulty until we can get to the final boss of this expansion, the Ragnarok expansion, and that will unlock legendary difficulty, pretty much, and the Embers expansion of TitanQuest 1 that I wanted to do before playing TitanQuest 2 that was released recently. That's pretty much the idea. It's an Embers expansion grind that you can only access on the third difficulty. This is the second one, and we will finish it today. So we'll do the final boss today. Now, for those of you watching this as a YouTube bod, here over at Twitch with my friends, I have some topics of debate after a small incident with another game that we are not going to talk about it, pretty much. So, the first topic of debate from you, Patrick, was, yeah, I know that it zooms in. I don't say that. Explain love, music, and taste in a metaphysically realist view. People usually have a relativist view because everyone has a different taste. Okay, Patrick, I will use video games as it may surprise you, but I don't listen to music other than that derived from video games themselves, and maybe some movies or cartoons that I generally watched. So basically, regardless of the topic, if it's a book of the object of analysis in the metaphysical plane of time and space, regardless of it, whether it is a book, a movie, or a video game, I've debated this constantly on stream with all of you, and it's precisely the main topic and reason of existence of my channel, is the fact that reviewers, because they are relativists by default, they will unconsciously say that in books, in movies, in games, the quality of the movie, of the book, or the video game, in general, will be a matter of mental perception, of personal subjective mental perception, of personal taste, rather than the objective arrangement of molecules and particles in time and space, which would be a realist stance, as you know, that we've debated so much, right? So that is the difference. For me, it's not a matter of opinion whether a game or a book or a movie is good or bad. It does not vary from person to person. It's different. It's like this. A reviewer's mental perception can be either close or far away from describing objective metaphysical reality. The opinion can be, what I judge is if the opinion of the reviewer is close or far away from describing the objective arrangement of particles in time and space, not taking for granted that depending on the subjective perception, I will get a different reality. See, that's the case. For a relativist viewpoint, there will be different realities depending on the mental perception. Why? Because objectiveness can never be achieved. That is the key difference, Patrick, of what you are asking me. It depends on whether you recognize the possibility of reaching objective reality, if it exists. If for the reviewer, objective reality does not exist, which is an unconscious process in 99% of the cases because they are relativists, unconsciously, then everything is a matter of mental perception. And you must be thinking, this is all quite abstract and really does not have any impact. Really, it does have it. Let's use video games, right? I know you asked about music on those, but I'll use a common ground for all of us, especially for me, in that sense. If I say that Fortnite is the best game of all time, which would be your reaction? All of you. Which would be your reaction? Well, you're all quite polite, and probably you would just say, "Oh well," but it's okay. It's your opinion. That's pretty much it. That's the part of courtesy that we have as human beings. That's the thing. But deep inside, you will think, well, maybe this person hasn't played a lot of video games. Because if we think about something like the level design in the Water Temple of The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time, in which you have to do so many um, so many interesting tricks and twists to get through it, then objectively compared to the map of Fortnite, which is just really being dropped and killing each other, really, in a direct comparison, uh, it's so simplistic that objectively the map in the Water Temple of the Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time is much better. Is much better. This is the central point of the existence of my channel, in fact, related to video games, Patrick. Of course, I cannot provide the philosophical background to every 2 seconds, as it is way too long, like we've debated on stream. But basically, that's the idea. Basically, that's the idea. For a relativist reviewer, he will tell you, oh well, if you like Diablo, maybe this could be the idea. If you like Diablo, you will like you'll like TitanQuest, for example, this one. But see that I'm not giving you any objective reason as to why. Why? Always ask yourself why. Why am I saying that? Well, compare that phrase. If you like Diablo, you like TitanQuest. Compare that to this. Due to the fact that the level design of TitanQuest is inherited from Diablo, and the fact that David Brevik turned the internal clock down to 0, thus creating real-time combat in isometric action RPG games, overcoming the limitations of the real-time with pause model of Baldur's Gate. Because of that, objectively, the combat system will be indeed similar, but I'm telling you why. Because the real-time internal clock system is exactly the same. It is that there will be some similarities, and because of that, also the level design structure is divided into acts, one after the other, with the same side quest density as Diablo and the same isometric camera. And because of all that, Patrick, I can then, as a consequence, establish the difference in can establish the relationship to give you the recommendation that they are quite similar. For example, that they are quite similar. So yes, see the difference. I'm telling you why. Oh yeah, when you said that I should try Diablo 2, you explained why. That's the thing. It's the why. It's the why. If you pay attention, a relativist review will never end up getting to the initial cause of any metaphysical phenomenon. In this case, simply a review about why the quality of a game is high or low, pretty much. But it will always be like that. It will never get to why. Why? Indeed, the reason behind this is that for a relativist review, objective reality does not exist. And if it does, it can never be reached. In that case, it's the same. Because everything is a matter of opinion. Just like you can read from my example down here in the panels, Patrick. I don't know if anyone ever reads the panels, but it's basically that. I have the spirit of the channel regarding those reviews and etc. Written down here for anyone who is curious, precisely because of that very same reason. Why did you ask me about that? You were curious about that. How were the difference in specifically in what I do regarding those. And the other topic for District, real quick, that he asked me after you. I think it has a limit of messages. Ah, damn it, I lost the message. Way too much. So it's basically like that, Patrick. When you said I should try Diablo 2, you also explained why. Yeah, because it's the father of all isometric action RPG games, and if you play the initial idea, you'll be able to then, afterwards, establish comparisons with any other exponent of the genre. If you don't play Diablo 2, in that sense, you cannot see the original idea. You cannot see the original idea, and because of that, you cannot establish direct comparisons with other games of the genre. That's why. Alright, we're getting to the end, people. These ones are immune to bleeding, I think. Could it be? Yeah, they are immune to bleeding and poison. They are a hard counter. So I'll need to be careful here. So yeah, that's basically the idea, Patrick. Uh, it's the main reason. It's the main reason. If there's one thing that relativism affects directly is reviews. Because of that. Because imagine I tell you, well, maybe I like this game, but you don't like it. Of course, I'm perfectly fine with people liking uh, games that I don't like, and it's perfectly respectable. I'm not saying that if a lot of people like Fortnite and etc., for example, but from there to when you are reviewing and you are trying to reach objective metaphysical reality, the difference is saying that, for example, a phrase like Fortnite is the best game of all time, and I've heard it a lot. But when people say that phrase, what do they say immediately afterwards? Well, it may not have this or that, but it's the one that I played the most. See, that is eminently it's completely utterly subjective. It's the one I played the most. See that I never say those things. See that I never say those things. Star Wars: The Old Republic, which is my favorite game of all time, I played it the most as a direct consequence of the fact that I can explain that is the most versatile game of all time and has the best uh, mechanics of all time that I explained for 30 days as I played it. How does realism works in human relationships, like friendship or love? Because, as I mentioned, I personally hate when people are defending themselves with their opinion always. You mean like that you cannot imagine how a realist society behaves, right? That you cannot imagine it because we live in a relativist one. It's like that. Like how would it be in a hypothetical situation? Well, first of all, it's not hypothetical because it was like that. Yeah. Well, first of all, it's not hypothetical because it was like that until the until the 1700s. In the 1600s, in the 1500s, in fact, most of the history of humanity has been realist. Only from the 1700s up until now, we live in a relativist world in which everything is a matter of opinion. In that sense. So first of all, it's not hypothetical. Would be my first talking point regarding that. Second, it's a great question. And you just have to imagine to read how people lived in ancient Rome, in the medieval ages in Europe, precisely, pretty much, and then throughout the whole period of late Middle Ages of the Habsburg dynasty. And with this, I'm covering, as I've said, since the year 0, let's say, or a bit less, since Greece, since 200 before Christ, basically. 200 before Christ, sorry. Since 200 before Anno Domini would be in English. Year of the Lord would be minus 200. Greece, from Greece, Rome, and Middle Ages, it has been like that most of the time. Relativism is really a modern. It's a modern solution. So, but I bet you're asking for specific examples, because you mentioned some specific ones. They were friendship and love. Friendship. Okay. This one will be an interesting phrase, Patrick. You haven't heard in a while. Friendship. What's the message of relativism? Doubt everything, right? Doubt everything, right? Don't trust anything. Don't trust anything. Always be in a constant state of doubt, right? So if we extrapolate that, because there's no objective reality precisely, and since everything depends on everyone's opinions, and you cannot read people's minds at the end of the day, then the natural message of relativism is, and the modern society is, doubt everything. In other words, doubt everyone. For realism, see how different it is? It's not doubt everything. For relativism, it would be doubt religion, doubt what your parents know. For example, this is a common topic that children nowadays, the first thing they do is doubting, or they are encouraged. Don't know if you feel it. Children nowadays are directly encouraged to immediately doubt the teachings of their parents, for example. But regarding friendship, it's the same. Doubt everything. If we doubt everything, then no one can trust each other. That's the society we have now. No one can trust each other as a direct consequence of that. Right? It's like that. Because it's doubt everything and everyone. Realism is different. Is doubt those things and those people that give you logical reasons to doubt them. What is a logical reason? The deductions that you can extract from the observation of the metaphysical plane of time and space. Your observations. Trust those that from your observations you can logically derive that they can be trusted, and distrust those who from your logical observations you can conclude, you can deduce that they are not to be trusted because of logical reasons, because they lie, because they, I don't know, because they don't have a moral compass, because they don't have a moral compass, for example, because of whatever reason that makes you logically distrust the person, but not just because of the fact that by default you have to doubt everything. That would be the difference in friendship. I'm a rule follower. I never disobeyed my parents or doubt them because I know they wanted the best for me and I wanted to make them happy by being good. Okay, but the internal idea of what I'm telling you is what I just said. It's okay. It's okay. That's a sign of intelligence because you perceive that they have been in this world for a lot of more years than you. So that's a logical deduction that is not respected nowadays. Because it does make sense. It does make sense, Patrick, in that sense. I'm not saying that all parents ever in the history of humanity have been right. There are some that sadly are not as intelligent as like what you are describing perfectly in that sense. But the key is this one: the message of a relativist society in friendship or relationships with parents is that of doubt everything. The one of realism is doubt those things that give you logical reasons to doubt them, and trust those things that give you logical reasons to trust them. See the difference. See the difference. I know it's quite the first time I learned about this, it was quite mind-boggling to think about, because we are always told that doubt everything, always doubt everything. No, doubt those things that give you logical reasons to doubt them, to have doubts about them, and trust those that give you logical reasons to trust them. See that it does not obey mental perception, that is completely divorced from mental perception. That's the difference. Would you get it, Patrick, more or less? And then I get to the other one, to lab. But basically that's the idea. Defending themselves with their opinion always. that's the fallacy of relativism, basically, Patrick. Whenever I run out of arguments, I start saying, well, but that's your opinion and this is mine. But the problem with that is that we never reach objective metaphysical reality in the debate. There's no debate, really. There's no debate. We are just talking in an isolated way to each other's minds. And the other person is just there to isolate himself in his own mind. See that you never reach any objective conclusion with a relativist thinker, because as you said, at the end of the day, everything is a matter of opinion. And this is the case with 90% of people, because it's impossible to address metaphysical reality for it was impossible for Immanuel Kant. You need to understand that, people. And if you copy that, then you will never get beyond Immanuel Kant. And if he couldn't, then no one else will, because you are doing the same as him, and he had that limit. Is the thing, because he didn't care about realism at all, because he didn't read about that, because it was he grew up in a period of time called the Age of Enlightenment, in which precisely this will sound to you, the first thing that they did was throwing all that had come before. So they said the previous 1600 years were wrong. Directly. They were all idiots. Aristotle, Thomas Aquinas, going from Greece to Rome, to Middle Ages, to everything. Everyone was an idiot except for them. That's pretty much the Age of Enlightenment that I mentioned so much. And well, if you have that approach, it's almost impossible not to be wrong. Trust or doubt those who logically cause you to trust or doubt. Did I get it right partially? Yes. If from trust those who give you logical reasons to trust them, because you see that they don't lie, because you see that they are intelligent. I bet that one will sound familiar to you, Patrick. Because you see that, and by intelligent I mean that they can perceive objective reality. For example, you could see that maybe it was instinctively done by you with me, probably in that sense. Patrick, you could see that it was maybe instinctively, that you could see that I perceived something that maybe you didn't initially. That's the case. That's another reason. Or that, as I said, that they don't lie, that they I don't know, have good intentions regardless of their perception on life or those things, right? They are giving you a logical reason to trust them. See that it happens unconsciously, but here I'm rationalizing it for you, so you can be aware of it. And those that, on the contrary, they lie. Imagine if instead of me talking about all of these things, well, I would be banned here over at Twitch. I think it's forbidden, and I don't drink. But imagine that instead of me talking about these things to you and holding the interesting conversations we've held, imagine that I arrived to the stream drunk. Right, Patrick? I would be banned in this case. But imagine that it's not a stream, it's another context. That for whatever reason, I am actually Hungarian, and we become friends, and we are at a bar talking, and I order a beer of this huge size, and I drink it all, and I end up drunk. Or whatever other reason, you would instinctively perceive that the person really has no self-control or discipline in that sense, has no self-control. For example, another reason that is not responsible, because then the person could get into a car drive and get everyone killed. See? So those things that you can perceive, that's what I mean by logic. What your senses can tell you and your mind about those. What you can deduce from logically from metaphysical reality. See that there's a difference. If I start talking about what I like, people usually stay away from debating or just talking in high school. Philosophy is too much for people. Yeah, the thing is that what I talk about is not philosophy. Well, it is philosophy, but it's metaphysical philosophy, which is worse. What you debate with me is metaphysical philosophy. Why? The part of the metaphysics, because you can debate about philosophy normally, like about relativism and those, but I deal with metaphysical philosophy. Metaphysical philosophy is the one directed specifically at explaining the fabric of the universe and reality, which is it's a more complex topic than just talking about something like freedom. For example, generally philosophy, standard philosophy, revolves around concepts like freedom, more modern concepts like freedom, like I don't know, modern topics like I don't know, abortion or gender theories or those things. I debate. What you debate would be is metaphysical philosophy. It's aimed at explaining the fabric of the universe and reality, which is a topic that, since we don't have all of the scientific answers, is more difficult to talk about. It's more difficult, so it's absolutely natural what you're describing. It's absolutely natural. You cannot expect people to be able to debate that. Though I must recognize that I have had my best intentions here when I started over at Twitch, and I thought no one would care. And for example, you care. Pillow cares a lot. Pillow cares a lot, definitely. More oriented to politics, he cares a lot as well. District as well. I've debated with him. District as well. District as well. It's just that he loves Dragonsang, and for example, he maybe likes the games as well, and those things. Maybe not that much the debate like you, but still, I've debated a lot with him as well. It's just that maybe sometimes I debate with them at the end of the stream, and you generally have to go in that sense. So it's like that. So get your hopes up, because if we could find each other to debate those things, I can, well, at least I can promise you that I will be here. Is the thing. But yeah, in high school the problem is the educational system, as I told you, since the teachers really don't know about all of these things that I debate with you about. Well, they cannot teach the children to debate from both sides, and it's all relativist, and that makes the debate more flat. It makes it flat because at the end of the day, you could see in the chat with your friend that you mentioned to me that at the first sign of debating against a realist stance, he really had no arguments, you told me. So there you can see that when you are not exposed to it, well, then you don't know how to debate against it. I did have to debate against communists, Patrick. I did have to debate against relativists, well, in general, 99%. That's why I was prepared, or I am prepared, since the very first time you asked me about it. It's because of that. But over at your high school and etc., I'm struggling with being a pessimistic guy. I always see what's wrong in a random guy I'm talking to. I hope I get to learn to think on the other side. What do you mean? Like you are always analyzing? That's always good. That's no. I think that's a positive trait. We see what's wrong in a random guy. No, that's perfectly fine. If you keep it in your mind, that's perfectly fine. That's perfectly fine. It speaks of intellect, analyzing reality. Never stop asking yourself why things happen. As long as you do that, there's rarely anything that will escape the grasp of one's mind. If you keep asking yourself, why did this happen, or why will this, or why could this potentially happen in the future, or why does this happen in the present, why do things happen, why? For example, I can deduce you were intelligent precisely because at your age, when I asked you about your age, I saw it was uncommon for someone of your age to care about these topics, to care. Why? Because that shows sensitivity, and sensitivity means perception. Perception implies intelligence. A lot of people think that intelligence is memorizing a lot of things one after the other, which arguably, if you have a good memory, I do, you do so. But that's not intelligence, really. Intelligence is the ability to perceive, to see things that other people don't, maybe, for whatever reason. Generally because of lack of sensitivity. And this does not mean being one of these ultra-liberal... See how convoluted it is. Nowadays, the concept of sensitivity is directly associated to liberalism, like in the United States, to the Democrat Party, to more liberal political stances. And you people do know that I lean conservative, and I like European monarchies, for example, like the UK and etc. Not dictatorships, monarchies. I always tell the difference because that's another topic of debate that we've always commented, that people nowadays think that a monarchy like the UK is a dictatorship. It has nothing to do with it. I hate that I can't enjoy the life like others. I don't care about parties. I never was in one. I can't talk about random sports or hobbies that are useless. And time spending, well, all of the things that you just described happen to me. If it makes you feel better, it's always good to share those burdens with people, to not keep them to yourself alone. I've never been to a party, Patrick, as you are exactly mentioning. I had and I have no interest at all wasting my time, indeed, debating about shallow topics and seeing drunk people, as precisely you are describing. And the other part, and you cannot enjoy life because of that. No, I know it's natural at your age, but you can enjoy life without all of those things, without a doubt. About a random sport, I am, as I've said, well, you did say you did, you went to the gym and those things. In my case, I did swimming, but I never cared. I never liked sports in general. I generally don't like moving. Sadly, people, we can't be perfect. I don't like moving. Fortunately, for whatever reason in life, I am not obese, I guess. Biology, I don't eat a lot in that sense. That helps. And genetics, I guess. Fortunately, because of that, but yes, I do not like moving in that sense as well. I do not like moving, really. If I have to be honest, I don't like moving. I like my mind to work as much as possible, and my body not to move. It's something that I will need to correct a bit. Sadly, I will have to correct it a bit eventually, I guess. But at least walking, just walking is more than enough, contrary to what they sell nowadays, that you have to go to the gym and kill yourself. No. Walking, people, I've been told by already 3 different medics, I told them, 3 different doctors, I told them the situation, and they said, no, just walking is perfectly fine. 2 hours of walking per day is more than enough. So, you say that you cannot enjoy life. You should enjoy life in the fact that because of the things that we've debated, you already know more about the universe than all of that people will ever will. That should make you happy enough. But I get the feeling that you are mentioning, when you can, what I was mentioning, when you are intelligent and you can perceive those flaws that you were mentioning about some people that you stumble upon and etc., it makes you generally a bit depressed, right? Because you can see how good potentially things could be. I get the feeling. And they are not, because of overall ignorance, for example, would be the reason. I don't know. But whichever is the reason, Patrick, the key is that you should be happy. You should be happy and enjoy life, in that sense, because you don't care about the parties. Well, if you have already assessed that is wasting time, then you feel alone, and you enjoy being inspired. I have a good family, goals and dream, the mission. I envy people with a lot of friends and girlfriend. Okay, it's a natural feeling, Patrick, especially at your age. It's an absolutely natural feeling, and it happens to me as well. It happens to me as well. But you shouldn't envy those. You shouldn't envy in that sense. You should just, it's a natural feeling, and I get it. But as I told you, the period of time in which we are living is quite convoluted. But as I told you, as long as you don't forget this, that I told you the other day, that girls are actually, remember this, they're also the victims of Obama's status quo. They are also the victims. I know that a lot of them are acting cruel nowadays. I have debated this precisely with women, precisely, over at Star Wars, Your Republic, and etc. From all careers and professions that you can think about life. And they themselves have told me that, and I can assure you, I will predict you what will happen. There will be a group, it has already happened, there will be a group that will be more intelligent than the cruel group, let's say, because if we are talking about what's going on, really, there's an absolute dissociation of standards that every girl wants a millionaire, basically. Basically, that would be more or less the case. Basically, that's more or less what's going on. Very simplistic. It's more complex than that, but basically that. There will be a group that, just like our mothers, just like our grandmothers, who were not idiots, who are not idiots for having a different life, there will be a group that will be more intelligent and will embrace the lifestyle of our mothers, of our grandmothers, and the original group will be and this is the reason, will be the real victims of Obama's status quo. At the end of the day, why you're asking me, Patrick? Because of what I told you the other day. Biologically, this is how molecules arrange themselves. I don't know if it sounds to you precisely. Biologically, we men can have children up until almost the day we die, more or less, depending on our energy. But women can't. You can freeze the ovule, I think. You can freeze it, but only if you have a lot of money. That's not the case for most people, because the Obama administration also unleashed a crisis after 2008, economically, that we still see the consequences today. So it won't be the case for most. And there will be two groups. There will be a group that, ironically, didn't hate precisely their mothers and will have a happy life. And that is the group that you will find a person to spend your life with. And there will be another group that sadly won't. And it will be too late. And once they grow older, they will realize that they have no children to take care of them, like our mothers and our grandmothers. I don't know if anyone here has had the terrible experience of projecting psychologically how it is to die completely alone, no children, no spouse or whatever, no partner in general. Doesn't need to be, you don't need to be married. I don't know if you projected it psychologically, but I can assure you that all of the portion of the group that is being is really being cruel in a lot of cases. As I've said, I've debated this with a lot of people, of course, women included. You have no idea how much they are going to regret aborting and all of those things that they are doing now. You have no idea. That's why I'm telling you that the key is that they are not that they are victims, that they are not the ones that created the situation that precisely makes you feel alone and etc. I also do feel alone, Patrick. I'm an only child, and as I always tell, once my parents leave me, sadly, I am all alone against life. Indeed, in that sense. I don't know if you have brothers or sisters or whatever, but pretty much that is the case. But I trust there's a process that has already started in which the second group has realized in time of the fallacy of Obama's status quo. If I had to blame a person, I'm sorry, it's Obama. I think he has killed more people than what you can imagine. He has killed more people than what you can imagine. And you know I love the United States. See the thing. See the thing. But it would be the equivalent of what Stalin and the Soviet Union did when they started attacking Europe and the mustache man of Germany and all of the great killers that we've had throughout history in our European societies. What he did with this modern liquid society, I think it's equivalent to a genocide. I'm sorry. I think it's equivalent to a genocide because there's a lot of children that were unborn without any kind of reason whatsoever. There's really no reason for any average girl to massively reject dozens of guys just because they are not millionaire or whatever. The person is being entitled, spoiled, is not obeying to reality at all, is not having realistic expectations. See the problem. And when it affects a generation, I think if I'm not completely hated by everyone at this point, it's a miracle. But well, pretty much, I'm not a populist, people. You can see that whether you agree with me or not, there's one reality. I don't tell you what you want to listen to. I tell you what I think. Even at the risk or expense of precisely knowing that it may be unpopular. I give you my honest thoughts as politely as I can, and that means not being a populist. I don't tell you what you want to listen to. I tell you what I think. Whether you like listening to it or not, that is what enriches it. That is the difference. If I just told you out of fear of losing people, I just told you whatever is the status quo, then we all become more ignorant. We all become more ignorant as a direct consequence of that. Because we never listen to something different. I have already listened to millions of communists and etc. But I bet it's been a while since you've listened to what I just said about the two groups and etc. And I'm explaining you why. I'm explaining you why I think what I think. That's what I can promise you. I will always tell you why I think the things that I think. And try to give you the most solid logical reasons. That is the key, Patrick. About being alone, and smart and etc. Don't feel like that. I assure you that there will be a person just for you, and there will be another one for me that will be of that group that I mentioned to you, and will be more intelligent, and it will be more intelligent. Even better if the modern, if the latest trend with the last US election that I saw continues. Even if that happens, it will be even better. If that happens, it will be even better. My humble opinion. My humble opinion. I think the not that much Biden, but Obama specifically, the teaching children that their mothers and their fathers, well, in the case of us fathers, we are idiots directly. We are directly idiots. Telling children that their parents are stupid, because at the end of the day, that was the meta message, let's say, the real message of the Obama administration. Your parents are idiots. Obey us. Your parents are idiots. They lived in a different society, and your mother was a slave of your father. Your father was a villain. Your mother was a stupid, basically. And when you tell that to children, I think that is the equivalent of a genocide. I'm sorry. I think that's the equivalent of a genocide. To their own population, internally, to the own United States. To the own United States. And then it affected the rest of us outside of it. But I think it's a genocide. I think it's a genocide. Because when you tell a child to hate their parents, is the equivalent of a genocide. It's the equivalent of you're indoctrinating. You're indoctrinating hatred. Right? So yeah, as you can see, I don't like Obama. I do not like Obama. In the case of Biden, he was more of a puppet. He just continued what Obama did. If I had to point to one person, it's Obama. It's Obama. He probably wasn't the one behind the idea, but he is the one that executed it. So, in that sense, I just hope, I say it openly, I just hope Trump, well, he cannot because it's his last presidency. And while I disagree with some things that he does, overall, nothing to do with what Obama did. Nothing to do. In that sense, nothing to do. Telling children to hate their parents, Trump hasn't done that so far. Hasn't done that. I know. Anyone doesn't hate me by now? Anyone who doesn't hate me by now? Anyone who doesn't hate me by now? I bet everyone hates me by now. Well, people, I can only say sorry. I can only say sorry in that sense. I give you my honest thoughts, but still, I know some of them are tough, so I can only say sorry. I know it's not your case, Patrick. I know it's not your case, Patrick, for example, because I know you like them. But anyone watching this as a YouTube bot, etc. Pretty much that's the case. That's the case. Never tell your children to. Never tell anyone's children that their parents are stupid. It's absolutely cruel and serves no purpose, and it's so stupid. The people, and also another thing, because it's another thing. When you go to school, you go to learn about math, language. For example, well, in my case, I learned English 101, but about physics and etc. You don't go. This is the key of any healthy society. Education rules the nation. Education is to be done at home by your parents before you go to school.
Oh, you again.
School is not there to educate children. It's there to instruct them about language, about math, and etc. About knowledge, things that naturally we cannot expect as parents to do. But it's not there to educate children about their manners, for example, about their perception of life and those things. That is the problem. The Obama administration tried to usurp the figure of parents, and I think that's an attack on the family. So I think it's also quite disgusting. It's also quite disgusting.
See me digging a hole.
Parents educate at home before sending children to school. At least we in our Italians and Spaniards, in our tradition, that is assumed still, fortunately. You educate your children at home, hoping them to be courteous and educated and everything, and then over at school, they teach about the things that naturally we parents, well, I'm not, but that we potential parents could not. Naturally, because we are not math teachers and physics teachers. But education, the manners, the perception of reality precisely, is something that belongs to the parents, not to the state, people. That's communism. That's communism. It's usurping a right that fathers and mothers should have, not the state. See the thing. The problem. And in the United States, this has been happening. There's even cases of children that did sex operations, operations to change sex without consulting parents by the end of the Biden administration. Without consulting parents, it was just the teachers at school. So that's why you can see that regardless if you think that due to the fact that I'm conservative, I am wrong about a lot of things, regardless of that, you can see that I can give you logical reasons as to why. I do not like the intervention of the state usurping the figure of a parent, of a father or a mother. It's not just that they would instantly shout misogyny or whatever. If all women don't want to have children and etc., it's their choice. Yes, but then we should highlight more often that if that is the case, you will die alone, basically. You will die alone. And that opposite sexes complement each other because we both have qualities that the other doesn't. And this is natural. This is not highlighted. Why is it that is it not highlighted? Then is my question, perception of reality again. Why is it not highlighted? Because there's a second intention behind it, to reduce the overall population. Maybe, could it be? If we combine it with the fact of how much it's been encouraged that a man dressing as a woman and a woman dressing as a man, again, no children, at the end of the day, it all leads to the same consequence, should be perfectly accepted and everything. If I start uniting all of the topics together, well, allow me to have the suspicion that maybe the pension system was broken due to the crisis of Obama in 2008, and maybe they don't want to pay pensions because we have a lot of population, could it be? Especially in the economic system of the United States with the Obama administration, maybe? Overall in the world, then. Maybe? Allow me to be suspicious. Do I have the right to be suspicious? Do I still have that right? Yes, I think I still have that right to be suspicious. Fortunately, I was born in a country that, well, even with its economic hardships and everything, fortunately, thanks to the United States and European culture, precisely Western culture that is also hated a lot nowadays, fortunately, I know of freedom of expression and thought, and, oh, surprise, I think I still have the right to be suspicious. Maybe, right? So you see that when I start stacking the topics on top of each other, maybe could it be that that's the reason that the pension system was broken? Maybe. And they had no way to pay. Maybe. Could it be? Could it be? Because of the, once again, because of the terrible economy of Obama, because really Obama had no good idea about economy. He increased inflation a lot because he, once again, spent more than what the taxpayers of the United States could give him, causing inflation. Because he was ignorant, sadly. Because he was ignorant and he didn't know about inflation, naturally. And he caused inflation. Once again. Like happened in... The problem is that, yeah, in Argentina we suffered that since 70 years ago. So it's a unique case that I was prepared for that moment. In most of your countries, in most European countries, really inflation wasn't a brutal thing up until recently. It's still not brutal. You're still not in hyperinflation. You will get better. Don't worry about it. Do not despair. But still, it's not the same level as when you were kids. Think about when you were kids. Wasn't it a bit more controlled? Yeah, it was a bit more controlled. It was a bit more controlled. So once again, my final deduction would be that Obama didn't know about inflation. He didn't know about it. Maybe an advisor, maybe someone else told him and he even disobeyed it, which would be worse. But well, let's suppose, let's have a benign, a positive assumption. Let's have a positive assumption that he didn't know. And well, that is the case. That broke the pension system. And then from there, let me suspect that derived all of the so-called nowadays woke culture and etc., which is nothing but a rehash of relativism. It's a remake of relativism. Patrick, I left you speechless. I bet you had more debate topics. Was it way too interesting? I left you speechless. I left you speechless. Everyone over at YouTube, I know you hate me. Please, please, there's the exit over at the left door. Everyone over at YouTube, there's the exit. For people who cannot even tolerate listening to something different, there's the exit over at YouTube. I already know it. Don't worry, it's all assumed. In every day's work, it's all assumed. It's just one more in every day's work. So basically that. Patrick, I left you speechless. Well, we debated about everything so far. But don't feel alone. Don't feel alone. Once you understand the causes, that's why I told you. Always ask yourself why. I just told you pretty much all of the whys that my mind could think about. And now that you have the framework, understand that situation and the girls and everything, they are victims of all of this. They are unaware of it. They are unaware of all of this. So if you ask me, is that there will be a group, there's already a group that will be more intelligent, and the influence of this status quo that I'm mentioning is dissipating finally. If the trend continues as it is finally dissipating, and we will go back to a normal life for human beings. Normal life. As it was for 2000 years, and it will go back to it. In that sense. I left you speechless, Patrick. I left you speechless. Don't tell me you ran out of debate ideas now. Damn it! Today Drakensang died, and I left you a bit speechless. It's an important day. You know that we're getting into the summer here, people. Huh? Right now I'll have to start turning on the AC. I'm starting to get hot in here. You know that we are the opposite. It's down here. We are starting the spring, and then the summer. So imagine. Yeah. Was my answer satisfactory, Patrick? More or less. Was it somehow satisfactory? Don't feel alone. I know it's hard because there will be a group that won't be like that. There will be a group that won't be like that. There will be a group that will appreciate you for what you are. Don't feel like that. Don't feel like that. There will be a group that will be more intelligent, trust me. As I told you. Oops, that one was close. So I will need to think about a game to replace Drakensang Online after this. I think I have an idea. Of course, District will like Diablo Immortal to replace it because he asked me to play that one some time ago. But we'll need to... I'll think about it. I wasn't expecting this turn of events, that Drakensang would die on me like that. Ah yes, we were looking for that. The Legendary Craftsmanship. Let me turn in this quest real quick. Let me turn that one in. Today we will finish the Ragnarok expansion here. We will get to the final boss. And I'll finally have a Legendary difficulty unlocked. Right? Then from there I have a problem. I never thought this day would ever come. And I don't know how to access the Embers expansion. It was to this one.
You really made it. The mead of Valhall. It's been a long time. Though the taste is not as sweet as I remember.
So-called epic weapons. Finding the price for our work is also
we could surely improve your so-called epic weapons and armor.
Do any work. Alright, we get a lot of experience there. Let's go back now that I've turned in that quest. So we are getting to the final boss today. I want my legendary difficulty. We are there. We just need two more zones. We are getting to legendary difficulty today. So yeah, pretty much. Little. So in the votes over at Discord, the next game that I was going to play was precisely Van Helsing, as I told District back then. But you, Patrick, and District voted for Diablo 2. I cannot believe that District voted for Diablo 2 after asking for Diablo Immortal. I think I have a solution for all of us. I'll make... District will have to choose between Diablo Immortal and Diablo 2, because otherwise it's two Diablo games. It makes no sense. He asked me for two Diablo games. And then I will reserve one day for another game. I always wanted to play Van Helsing. So, besides Crowbar there voted for Van Helsing, there was a vote for Van Helsing, so we can do Diablo Immortal and Van Helsing. We can do that. Right? We can do something like that. I'll have to figure that out. And well, I trust District will tell me if Drakensang Online ever gets fixed. We still have to do the final analysis. I'm just not doing it because of District, because of how kind he's been always to me. Otherwise I would rip the game apart immediately, but no, we'll wait for the fix, finish the game, get to the final analysis of Drakensang Online once they fix it, if it ever happens. I trust he will keep me posted on that. So we are going to do that, people. We are going to do that. I still have to do Master Mode, Eternal Throne of Star Wars: Your Republic. I wanted to showcase Path of Exile for Ender as well. I wanted to showcase that one. That he also played it. I wanted to play it with him. That he had a tune there. So pretty much.
I see my faith in you was truly justified. Stay close to me now. I know where we need to go.
Yes, this is pretty much we're getting to the end, people. We just need 2 more zones of Asgard, and I will finally, after 10 years. This is my build from 2008, people. This is my original build from 2008. See that I only do basic attacks. I did normal difficulty back then. Aha! Okay, this one is tough. I remember this boss. It's tough because you have the whole Asgardian family here. Oh shit, yeah, true. Okay. I need to kill the the mage there first. Damn it. I love the APM of some of the fights of TitanQuest, especially on epic difficulty. I cannot believe that after 10 years, I'm finally getting to legendary difficulty. This is epic, right? It's a second tier. It's like Nightmare in Diablo before going to hell. For going to hell difficulty. Yeah, fight you. Fight you. That's it. Oh, look at that. He uses the same abilities that I do. He's also a warrior assassin hybrid. I love how the game establishes a symmetric relationship between the abilities that the bosses have and those of your... There we go. The poison did the job. Now the ranger. How it establishes a direct asynchronous relationship in which the bosses use... I cannot... That one is immune? He's immune to damage, I think. In which the bosses use the same abilities. Oh, there's a kill order, I think, at this point. What about this one? Yeah, these ones are taking damage. That one is immune. The ranger is immune. Okay, there's a kill order. In which the enemies use the same abilities as the player. It establishes a symmetric relationship between the player and the mobs. I hate it when games establish they establish asymmetric relationships in which the bosses use completely different mechanics. Are you... Ah, they have a mana drain. Careful. That could deactivate my poison. This is still immune there. I wonder which of these two is summoning the crows there. And it's over. Oof. Careful, careful, careful. The other one is summoning the crows. It's over. Nice. First try. Just pump. Oh.
What? It can't be.
It apparently could, sir.
Loki.
Loki. Oh. The trickster god. He used us. People, he used us like dorks. Oh. What would that be? I left you speechless, Patrick. You generally keep debating about it. I left you speechless with the final explanation. What happened there? No worries, Patrick. No worries. Loki, the trickster.
You wouldn't work it out quite yet. But no matter, it is too late. This is what it feels like when your friends betray you, Freya. And Father, I've had enough of being rejected. Today I reject you as our ruler. You know what's coming to you next. As for you, Titan Slayer, I couldn't have done it without you. You have served well. First by helping me make that spear, and then by sticking it into this pretty fool. Almost too well, in fact. I hope you understand that I could not risk just asking you politely, even though they deserve what is coming to them. But in case you need a little time, shh. Merely a little safeguard. You'll get over it. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have important business elsewhere. Give my regards to hell.
Oh, people.
My poor Balder. He was the kindest and the fairest. Everyone loved him. When we were warned that all this might happen, I personally ensured that no dangerous thing could hurt him. But mistletoe?
Ah, yes, remember that we looted that.
Give my regards to you fool.
Wait, give me the... Oh, we are making it to the end, people.
Welcome, welcome.
We are so close to the end. I want to finish. I want my legendary difficulty unlock. I want the Embers expansion.
Mind you, I've cracked a couple of Jotun skulls myself, I have.
I'm so fucking close.
Weapons, of course.
There we go. There we go. Let's just organize this and keep going.
Forget to loot their corpses.
I'm so proud that my build from 2008 actually 10 years later could beat the game on a higher difficulty. Like, you can see that I'm only doing basic attacks. Just like that. Uh-huh. Where? Exit. Ah, okay, okay, okay. There. There we go. We're down here. Yeah, it's pretty much the end, yeah, people. Pretty much it. How I can already savor legendary difficulty and the Embers expansion. I can already savor it, people. Slowly. I can already savor it slowly. I can already savor it slowly. Okay.
No need to explain. I have seen it by now.
Heimdall.
Reckless hero who is too eager to help and brings disaster, and a reckless master who is too eager for knowledge and risks the same for himself. You are a peculiar pair. I warned you, Allfather, not to let Loki run free. I warn you now that going to the giant's home at this time is a dangerous plan. As much as Mimer's wisdom may help us, who will lead us if you fall? But if you insist, I will open the Rainbow Bridge just long enough for you to pass. I cannot guarantee, however, that I can do the same on your return. Stand back.
Oh. Pretty much. It seems to have imploded.
Sabotage. Someone has tampered with the bridge. I cannot close it. And I see the Jotuns.
Yes.
Jotuns.
Jotuns. Jotuns. Yes, get ready to fight. Ragnarok is upon us. Let's go. Oh, you will see a beautiful zone of the game, people. You will see it. Oof. We begin with the stance. That's good, that's good, that's good. It's always like that. Oof. 71. That's 10 levels above mine. That's 10 levels above mine. People, absolutely brutal. Absolutely brutal. But yeah. Yeah. This is it, people. It's the final zone. It's the final zone. I can already savor the legendary difficulty. I can already savor it. Pretty much. Oh, so well done. You know that this was done modernly for this game. Like, not back in 2008, but... Oh, there was another path there. And then I will explore both of them. Nice effect. I feel like playing Rainbow Road on Mario Kart now. There we go. That's nice. Walls of Utgard. There we go. This is it, people. This is it. It's pretty much the final zone of it. I love how this game has a day-night cycle, and you can see what I was telling to Ambra last week, that even if the story is secondary in an isometric action RPG game, there needs to be a cohesive line, a cohesive dialogue line and story to give the player something secondary to pay attention to. That's something that I've also commented about Drakensang Online. That since it's all written, and above that, the fact that the bosses are like isolated, disconnected within each other, that's a problem. That's a problem because it's not voice acted, and the bosses, the storylines are disconnected. Like one has nothing to do with the previous one for each area. In that sense. So yeah. Okay. So besides that, we'll have to pick some new games. So District asked for Diablo Immortal. So what we'll do, maybe we can do that one, and then we can do Van Helsing as well. But it's way too much isometric action RPG. Yeah, they would be all of them isometric action RPG. No, because TitanQuest would finish. No, it's true. There would be one free. Okay. Then I can. Okay, I can do. I can do Eternal Throne. In that Knights of the Eternal Throne on Star Wars: The Republic, or any other one as a leisure one. Okay. There would be 2 isometric action RPG games plus 1 of another genre. Yes, so we have at least 1 of a different genre in that sense. At least so we have 1 of a different genre. We can do something like that. Patrick, I left you speechless. Completely. You generally always say good night before going. No, you probably had to go do something. Patrick. Don't worry about it. I'm just joking. I know that you love the streams, and that if it were for you, you would stay debating the whole 4 hours. Poor Drakensang. It died a quick death as I couldn't enter the map. Damn it. I will also need to remember that we got stuck at day number 25. Okay, so I'll need to remember 25. 25. We need to remember that. We'll need to remember that because after 15 days, you know that the title of the stream is lost, people. So we'll need to remember day number 25. We'll need to remember that. So yes, pretty much. I would have never expected the game to die on me like so suddenly. Well, who cares about that, people? The important thing is that we chat. With each other. That's the important thing. Spending time with people you love. That's the important thing. People of life. Not other things. Not even money, in that sense. Of course you need money, but spending time with people you love, a good chat, that's irreplaceable. That's absolutely irreplaceable. That should be taught more in schools. See, people, what I was mentioning about education at home and then learning about math and language at school, and the fact that the Obama administration tried to replace that. Pretty much. See, these little things telling children that spending time with people you love is irreplaceable, for example, that is what I mean by education and perception of reality. Pretty much that. What I said about trust previously, the difference between the usual phrase of doubt everything. No, don't doubt everything. Doubt those things that give you logical reasons to doubt them, and trust those things or those people that give you logical reasons to doubt them, to be trustful or distrustful in that sense. The ones that give you logical, but not equally distrust everyone. See, that doesn't obey to logic, actually, what I was mentioning to Patrick precisely. Pretty much that's the idea. The message nowadays is doubt everything. Be distrustful of everyone. And really, it's not the case. My realist message would be distrustful of those who give you logical reasons to not trust them, and trust those that give you logical reasons to trust them. See that there's a difference. With that one, it does obey to reality. It follows reality. The other one is an assumption. You're assuming that everyone is lying to you. And it's like equal for everyone. This is like when... interesting topic. This is like when people say all criminals are the same. No. There has to be a hierarchy, a severity, depending on the action. No. Maybe someone who just did, I don't know, something like, I don't know, he just did, I don't know, he was driving and he didn't see a red light, and no one died, but he didn't see a red light, a red traffic light, right? A red traffic light. He skipped it. It's not the same as someone who killed a person. You understand that, people? Hierarchy, severity. When you say doubt everyone, because everyone lies, for example, you are not establishing any difference in you are not giving your mental perception any room to establish severity in that sense, and a hierarchy of frozen. Any hierarchy to the actions. See, that is the problem. And when you cannot do that, well, everything is the same. And when everything is the same, you cannot perceive differences between actions. That is quite dangerous, people. That is quite dangerous. That leads to ignorance. If you say, it's the same someone who crosses, who didn't pay attention to a red traffic light than someone who killed. Well, that's a huge problem. Because you cannot then establish any logic relationship between two elements of metaphysical existence. Because everything is the same. That is the problem. See, that's the thing. That's the thing. So this modern message of doubt everything. No, this has to be a joke. No, it was a draw. It was a draw. He died. It was a draw. It was a draw. It was a draw. It was a draw. He died after he killed me. It was a draw. It was a draw. I could have retreated and killed him, but well, it was a draw there. No, I just didn't want to move and retreat. I was way too focused on the topic, people. It was a draw. It was a draw. There. The poison and the bleeding and the life stealing did the job. He was also immune to slows, right? His attacks were like, oh, I see a mammoth there. We're going to kill mammoths. We're going up against mammoths next. No, doesn't look like it. These ones, yes, they are slowed. I think the boss wasn't slowed. Okay, so we'll do that. We'll do Diablo Immortal for District, because he asked for that one first. To give it some variety, so it's not two Diablo games. We're already doing two isometric action RPG games. We'll do Van Helsing, that was the one that I had thought about as well. And also got a vote at Discord. So Diablo Immortal, Van Helsing, and another one from other genre that will replace this one as a leisure gameplay. Other genre, because then otherwise 3 isometric action RPG games, people. I love the genre, but there needs to be a bit of variety. there needs to be a bit of variety, 100%. Otherwise, it's all from the different genre. You all love isometric action RPG games. You all both isometric action RPG games. In that sense, we're getting there, people. I can't believe that after 10 years, I will be able to access the Embers expansion. You can only access the Embers expansion on the 3rd difficulty of this game. This is the 2nd one. I cannot believe that I will finally have it unlocked. I just want to see that legendary difficulty icon unlocked, and that's it. I don't know if I'll get to the Embers expansion in a while, but that I'll have it unlocked. I'll have it finally unlocked after so much time. Yes. See the influence of the graphical quality on the level design. See that sometimes the screen is extremely dark and you can barely...
I would say you
Oh, this is a real one.
But after what happened, I'm not so sure.
This is a real one.
Yes, that is right. Do we know each other?
Yes, like this whole quest started because of you. This whole quest started because of you, miss. Yes. Yes, indeed. Okay. Oof. Yeah, this is pretty much the end. Huh? From here, there's one huge zone, and then the final boss. Pretty much. Precisely. I finished this game on normal difficulty, doing every single side quest that it had to offer. 100% completion on normal difficulty. But see that even here, the enemy variety keeps going. No, regarding the influence of the graphical quality on the level design. See that some of the projectiles are difficult to spot, or some of the enemies when the screen is dark. That's absolutely amazing. Like some of the projectiles are difficult to spot in a swamp, or some other zones. That's always absolutely amazing. That's always absolutely amazing. As it tells you of the ingenuity of the developers. Like when the ground is quite dark, some projectiles I couldn't see them. That always needs to be there. It always needs to be there. So it adds that extra layer of difficulty to the gameplay mechanics. It's not of mastery, it's not experience, sadly. Oh well. I presume the boss will be 10 levels above me. Anyways, if any of you haven't seen it, check out the Hades kill that we did by the end of the Immortal Throne expansion. I have it as a highlight here on the channel, videos tab. That one I still think is the most difficult boss of this game. I would still say it's Hades. Typhon as well, but Hades it's a bit more because of the reduced room to maneuver, as well as the fact that Hades, that in the case of Hades, the health goes back to max in the final phase. So yeah. Jotunheimer Wasteland. Okay. Sorry people, my ancestors are Roman, not Viking. I'm terrible at pronouncing those Germanic derived words, like you know that most of our languages in Europe derive either from Latin, from Roman. They are either Romance languages like French, Italian, all of the south, and then over at the north you have them derived from German, in that sense, from the Germanic tribes. English, for example, like that, derived from Dutch, and in turn also due to the mixture with the Germanic tribes. So yeah, it's always terrible. The other day Ambra was laughing that I couldn't pronounce the Polish name of his university. Ambra, if you're watching this as a Twitch bot, if you're watching Ambra, I hope you're having a great time in your first week over at university. I hope you're having a great first week over at university there. He was doing software development. I hope you're having a great in Krolewek was like that. Krolek was a city there in the easternmost border of Poland. Hope you're having a, if you are watching this as a YouTuber, hope you're having a great first week over at university. Then you have to tell me the experience. It's all I will ask you for. That you tell me the experience of how it went. Yeah, they are in the western border between Poland and Germany. He's there, and and the westernmost, right at the border, and Rolek was the city. We checked it out last time. You have the bulb. I showed him my home city, and he showed me his where he would go to university there, because it was quite close to his home, pretty much. So hope you're having a great first week at university, Ambra. If you're watching this as a Bob, in that sense, you'll have a lot of adventures there. Universities. It's an adventure, people. It is an adventure. In my case, you know how it is, people. I used to, when I went to, I never liked. I'll be honest with you, I told a lot of you, I never worked as a lawyer. I actually, what I always loved was English. I do now the software development, and I also have to inherit the condo management as only child, which will be an even bigger burden for me. So, from my parents, precisely. So, yes. But what I can tell you that still, university did give me like all of the philosophical background, so I'm thankful for that. Still, there was a terrible part of it, which is that in my university, in my over at law school, it would be for English-speaking countries. For us, we do a distinction, but it's not that much. For us, it's just one entity, the university, and that's it. And inside of it, yeah, there are what you would call law schools, but it's not like that separated. In the United States, for example, it's more separated. It's law school, economics school, etc. It's like more separated, yeah. The exams were all oral, in front of 120 people, more or less, sometimes 80, sometimes 40, something like that. And you know, I'm extremely introverted, people, or I was up until that moment. Then once you sit for 53, see, I remember that number. Once you sit for 53 subjects orally, all of them, yeah, you lose your introversion very fast. No, you don't lose it completely, but you kind of like become what they usually call an introverted, dash extroverted. Like you learn how to. You are still like you feel better having conversations one on one rather than in large groups of people. In that sense, that would be it. But you like acquire the ability to tolerate the other one. It depends on that. If the thing that actually depends if you're introverted or extroverted is not being shy about your thoughts itself. It's about if you feel more energy, if you feel more um, complete, if you feel more comfortable, let's say, general state of being comfortable on one-on-one conversations or in groups of people, right? So that is the thing. That is the thing. That is the thing. I have always had an absolute preference for one-on-one. But you can see here people that now looking at it, I love the stream with all of you at the same time. So it's like that. It's like that. It's like that. You end up reaching a good balance in life. That's why I told you, Patrick. Never, never, never despair about those things. Life takes care. If you are intelligent enough, this is the key. Remember that I talked about perception. If you're intelligent enough, life will give you the opportunity to absorb much more knowledge than any average individual from life experiences, and as a consequence of that, you will find happiness indeed, because you will absorb faster because of that sensitivity and perception that I mentioned. In fact, on average, so sorry people to tell you this, my perception is that on average, In the past, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, on average, people had more sensitive perception than nowadays. That is a problem. And that's why I care so much about education and everything. It's precisely because of that. Precisely because of that. It's precisely because of that. It is precisely because of that. I love the crackling sounds. These are Rimtur's giant. They are like frost giants. Whoa. We are getting really frozen in here, people. What time is it, people? Because we had some issues. What time? No, we have time. We have time. Let me stretch my legs a bit. We have time. We have plenty of time. We have plenty of time. We'll finish it today. Damn it. Now I'm curious. I'm curious. I'm genuinely curious about Ambra's reaction. I'm genuinely curious. Once he discovers that the game fucking died because of the terrible developers. Now I'm genuinely curious because of how much he hated them.